make a general evaluation of the meeting. Frankly speaking, I liked it very much. I think it's a very good idea to make special meetings from time to time. It makes our club life various and lively. Today we learned much more about our club members. We learned that Elena, it's very dangerous to allow her to go home alone. Yes, we learned, I don't have much time to say how much I liked what people said about themselves. I only like that the topic of the table topic. We again listen to experienced now club members, how they made their ice-breaking speech. And I'm so ashamed to speak about my ice-breaking speech that I decided not to talk about it at all. What I like today especially is the talks of accountant and timer. I'm usually thick of explanations about the roles of grammarian, account, and so on. I think that it's just a waste of time. I know that Toastbusters International Organization recommend to explain our guests what these roles are. But I think we should correlate this recommendation to our guests. I'm sure that our guests are very well educated and smart enough to understand what grammarian does and what accountant counts and so on. When I visited the Toastmasters Club for the first time, we didn't have a site in internet, and the only thing I knew about the club that there was a group of people who gathered to speak English. But when I visited the club for the first time, I understood everything very well, without any preliminary explanations of the roles and what they're doing there. And don't think that I am too clever. I'm as clever as everybody, maybe even less clever. And once upon a time, my colleagues said that I was a complete fool. It happened when Fidel Castro visited the Soviet Union. He was a leader of Cuba, as you know, and the best friend of the Soviet Union. So he was provided with a perfect welcome. A lot of people who worked at research institutes were sent to Moscow streets to meet him. Our group of 200 or 300 people was brought to the airfield of Vnukovo airport. We were arranged in a few lines and taught to cry greetings and slogans. We rehearsed for about half an hour, and then we waited Fidel Castro's arrival for about 4 hours. So when he appeared before us at last, we met him with a storm of greetings. He understood that our joy was sincere. He was very pleased. He came to the people and began shaking hands. Everybody was shaking hands with everybody who stood in the first row. I stood in the middle of the first row, but I must state to you that when we were waiting his arrival, we were not allowed to leave the airfield, and we were not offered neither food nor drinks except ice cream. It was a hot sunny day. The ice cream smelled in our hands, and our hands were just very sticky. And we couldn't wash our hands because there was only a small wooden and awfully dirty lavatory in the field. So when Fidel Castro began shaking hands, I began counting how many dirty and sticky hands he presses before he reaches me. The number frightened me, and I slipped back in the second row. I thought that I was very clever in this situation. And my colleague said, Nina, you are a complete fool. You lost a tremendous opportunity to tell all your life that Fidel Castro himself shook hands with you. I have lost this opportunity. And now I have been telling since the crash of the Soviet Union that I refused to shake hands. And now let's return from my ice-breaking story to the evaluation of the meeting. I think that it was outstanding meeting, really. I like it very much. And I want to thank a person, I don't know who it was, who suggested this idea. And also those who organized this meeting, and all participants whose joint efforts made this meeting so lovely and so interesting.